You know how sometimes the universe just, well, puts on a little show for us?
Oh, absolutely. Little celestial performances.
Exactly. Well, get ready, because this coming Friday, April 25th, there's something genuinely fascinating happening up there. It's being nicknamed a smiley face in the sky.
Yeah, I saw that. It's more than just a cute name, though, right? What we're actually seeing, according to the sources, is a rare triple planetary conjunction.
A triple conjunction.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it involves Venus, Saturn, and the crescent moon. They're going to align in a way that, well, from our viewpoint here on Earth, it really does look kind of like a smile.
Okay, so three cosmic bodies looking cozy up there. A triple conjunction. What does that actually mean? They're not like actually bumping into each other, are they?
No, no, definitely not. It's all the perspective. It's an
Yeah.
apparent alignment. So from where we stand, they look incredibly close together in the sky.
Ah, okay.
Think of it maybe like seeing cars on different lanes of a highway way off in the distance. They might look like they're right next to each other, almost merging.
Right, gotcha. Different distances, different orbits, but lining up from our angle.
Precisely. So we have these three distinct celestial objects, Venus, Saturn, the moon, converging along our line of sight, just temporarily, of course.
So our deep dive today is all about this cosmic grin then. We want to figure out, who the players are exactly, Venus, Saturn, the moon, and what makes this particular lineup so um, noteworthy.
And crucially, when and where people can actually see it.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe touch on why this one feels a bit more special than just, your average night sky viewing.
Sounds good. So the sources are very clear. It's definitely Venus, Saturn, and a crescent moon making up this arrangement. Each one's on its own orbital path doing its own
All
thing.
right.
And it's the relatively infrequent intersection of those paths, from our perspective,
Yeah.
that creates this apparent closeness. We'll see.
And I think I read Venus and Saturn are going to be the eyes of this face. Is that right?
That's basically how it'll look. Yeah, Venus is usually super bright, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be a bit higher up in the eastern sky.
Okay, higher up.
And Saturn will be a little lower down. Their brightness should make them pretty easy to pick out, even without equipment.
Which leaves the moon, the crescent moon, to form the smile itself, that
Yeah.
delicate little sliver.
Exactly. That thin curve of the crescent moon will appear sort of below and maybe a little bit north of Venus and Saturn. It just completes that smiley look.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a young crescent, quite thin, probably adds to the visual effect with its subtle glow.
Okay, the celestial cast is assembled. Venus, Saturn, moon. Now, the really crucial bit, when do we need to set our alarms? I'm guessing this isn't an evening event.
Definitely an early start required for this one.
Huh.
The morning of Friday, April 25th. That's the key date and time.
Friday morning, got it.
And it should be visible pretty much across the globe, which is great. But the real key is having a clear, unobstructed view towards the eastern horizon,
Eastern horizon. How early are we talking?
about an hour before your local sunrise. That's the sweet spot.
Okay, so pre-dawn skies, looking east. No sleeping in if you want to catch this cosmic grin.
That's the plan. Yeah, our sources really emphasize looking east before the sun starts washing everything out. There's actually a quote from Brenda Culbertson. She's a NASA Solar System ambassador.
What did she say?
She described it pretty well. Venus is higher above the eastern horizon, with Saturn lower, and a thin crescent moon a bit lower and a little farther north. The thin crescent moon looks like a smile.
That paints a perfect picture.
She added, to some people, the triangle of bright objects may appear as a smiley face. So, yeah, gives you a good mental image.
Definitely. Now, for folks like me, not exactly astronomy buffs with big telescopes, can we still see this?
Oh, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
one of the nice things about this. Venus and Saturn are super bright planets. You'll definitely be able to spot them with just your naked eye. They'll look like distinct bright stars.
Okay, good.
However, if you happen to have, say, a backyard telescope or even just a decent pair of stargazing binoculars,
Binoculars might work.
yeah, they definitely help. They probably give you a much nicer view of the crescent moon itself. Let me
Mhm.
see a few features on its surface.
Okay, so binoculars are a good shout to maybe enhance the view a bit. And wasn't there something mentioned about a potential bonus sighting if you've got a really clear view?
Ah, yes. Good point. If your eastern horizon is particularly flat and clear, like no trees or buildings right down low,
Yeah.
you might just catch a glimpse of Mercury sitting below the main trio,
Mm-hmm.
Venus, Saturn, and the moon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it would be an extra treat. Mercury can be pretty tricky to spot sometimes because it hangs out so close to the sun in our sky.
Mm.
so finding it would be a nice little bonus.
Okay, now here's something that kind of jumped out at me when I was reading about this, the timing. This smiley face thing happens right after the peak of the Lyrid meteor shower.
Yeah.
Is that just like a cosmic coincidence?
Well, it's certainly interesting timing, isn't it? It makes you think about the broader celestial activity going on. The Lyrid meteor shower peaking just before this means our night sky has already been pretty active, potentially. So it's almost like we're getting a double feature.
Ah, yeah, like an encore.
Kind of. You know, the tail end of the meteor shower, maybe a few lingering shooting stars, followed by this really striking planetary alignment. It definitely highlights the constant motion and the occasional cool convergences happening up there in our solar system.
Okay, so let's just recap quickly to make sure everyone's got it straight. Morning of Friday, April 25th.
Yep.
Look east about an hour before the sun actually pops up.
Crucial bit that, before sunrise.
And if you've got clear skies, you should see bright Venus up high, Saturn a bit lower.
The eyes.
The eyes, right. And then that thin crescent moon below them making the smile.
That's the configuration.
And maybe, just maybe, Mercury down below if you're really lucky with your horizon view.
Exactly. That's the core info. And remember, this is visible pretty much worldwide, provided you have those clear skies. It's a relatively uncommon visual arrangement of these specific three bodies.
Why is it uncommon? Just their orbits lining up like this.
Yeah, precisely. Venus, Saturn, and the Moon all have very different orbital periods and paths.
Yeah.
Getting them to align in this particular smiley formation from our earthly perspective doesn't happen all that often.
So, okay, beyond just being a cool thing to see, maybe get a photo, what's the real takeaway here? Why should we, bother setting that early alarm?
That is a great question to sort of end on. Think about it. The sheer scale of things out there, the predictable yet sometimes really surprising ways these giant objects move and line up. This smiley face, it's temporary, isn't it? A fleeting moment in this huge cosmic dance.
Yeah, it won't last long.
No. And witnessing it, I think, kind of connects us to something much bigger than our daily lives. It's a reminder of these vast ongoing processes in our solar system.
Especially, like you said, coming right after the Lyrids, it feels like the sky's been putting on a show.
Exactly. It just encourages us to maybe look up more often and just appreciate the, dynamic beauty that's up there, sometimes hiding in plain sight or just before dawn.
Absolutely. So, bottom line, if you can, seriously, set that alarm for Friday, April 25th. Grab a coffee, find a spot with a clear view to the east, and take a few moments to look up and see this rare celestial smile. It really does sound like a fantastic opportunity to connect with the cosmos a bit and see something pretty special.
Well said. Definitely worth the early start if the weather cooperates.